If I say Greek hero, who pops into your head? For a lot of people, it's this guy, Theseus of Athens. I mean, his story has got it all, right? You've got monsters, mazes, incredible feats of strength, the whole shebang.
Yeah, on the surface, he is the complete package. This is the guy who slays the Minotaur, becomes a king, and basically founds the great city of Athens. He's the hero everyone wants to be.
But, and this is a big but, that's where his story gets really interesting. You see, behind every single great victory, there's always a cost. And for Theseus, oh, that cost was devastatingly high. His legend, as we're about to find out, is just as much a tragedy as it is a triumph. So to really understand the man, we've got to go right back to the beginning. And let me tell you, it all starts with his very unusual parentage. Okay, so this whole thing comes down to a concept called double paternity. It's wild. His mother, Aethra, well, she was with both the mortal king, Aegeus, and the sea god, Poseidon, on the very same night. So what does that mean for Theseus? He gets this incredible inheritance, a legitimate claim to the Athenian throne from his mortal dad, and that awesome, godlike strength from his mortal one. Best of both worlds, right? So, before King Aegeus left, he set up a little test. He took his own sword and sandals and buried them under this absolutely massive boulder. The deal was, only when his son was strong enough to lift that rock could he claim his birthright. And, well, you can guess what happened. When Theseus came of age, he just lifted it. No problem. All right, so with proof of who he is in his hand, Theseus sets out for Athens. But here's the thing about him. He doesn't take the easy way. No, sir. He could have taken a nice, safe boat trip. Instead, he chooses the dangerous land path, a road that was just crawling with bandits and monsters. And on this journey, he faces 6 deadly challenges that basically forged his reputation. But what's really fascinating is how he deals with them. See, in a lot of these cases, like with Sinis the Pinebender and Procrustes the Stretcher, Theseus doesn't just defeat his enemies. No, he gives them a taste of their own medicine. He subjects them to the exact same cruelties they inflicted on other people. It's this brutal kind of justice that makes his name legendary before he even steps foot in Athens. But believe it or not, all of that was just the warm-up. When he gets to Athens, Theseus finds his people are living under this dark shadow cast by the super powerful King Minos of Crete, and this leads to what is, without a doubt, his most famous trial. You see, because of something that happened in the past, Athens was forced to pay this absolutely horrifying tribute. Every 9 years, they had to send 7 young men and 7 young women to Crete, and they were all destined for the labyrinth. And waiting at the center of that inescapable maze, the Minotaur, a monstrous creature, half man, half bull that, well, it devoured the Athenian youths. Theseus, being Theseus, just refused to stand by and let this happen. So he volunteers himself as one of the tributes, and he makes a vow to end this terror once and for all. I mean, this was the ultimate test, wasn't it? It seemed completely impossible. Let's say, even if he could somehow defeat the Minotaur, nobody had ever escaped the labyrinth. It was designed by the master inventor Daedalus to be inescapable. But Theseus had a secret weapon, or rather, a secret ally. Ariadne, the daughter of his enemy, King Minos, fell head over heels in love with him, and she gives him 2 absolutely crucial things. A sword, obviously, to fight the beast, and a simple ball of thread. The idea was genius in its simplicity. He just had to tie one end to the entrance, unspool it as he went deeper, and then follow it back out. Brilliant. And just like that, Theseus enters the maze. He finds the Minotaur, and he kills it. He's victorious. He did it. But this is the exact moment where the heroic tale takes a very dark and very tragic turn. Think about it. He had done the impossible. He saved the tributes, he escaped the labyrinth, and he freed Athens from the tyranny of King Minos. He sails for home an absolute hero, with Ariadne right there by his side. So what was the cost of all this victory? Well, first, he abandons Ariadne, the very woman who saved his life, on an island. Just leaves her there. Why? The myths are kind of fuzzy on the details, but no matter how you slice it, it was a cool betrayal. And then came the fatal mistake.
He had promised his father, King Aegeus, that if he survived, he would change his ship's black sail to a white one as a signal. But in all the excitement, or maybe grief, he forgot.
And his father, watching from a cliff top, sees that black sail on the horizon. Believing his son is dead, he's so overcome with despair that he throws himself into the sea. So Theseus returns home a hero, only to find out that he's accidentally caused his own father's death. In fact, the sea itself is now named the Aegean Sea in his father's memory, a permanent, heartbreaking reminder of his tragic mistake.
But you know, the story of Theseus doesn't actually end there. His legacy evolves from a man into a myth, and it gives us one of the most famous philosophical questions of all time, one that has puzzled thinkers for thousands of years.
Okay, so the historian Plutarch tells us that the very ship Theseus sailed back on from Crete was preserved by the people of Athens. It was kept as a memorial, a real tangible connection to their founding hero. And for centuries, the Athenians took care of it. Whenever a wooden plank started to rot, they would carefully replace it with a brand new, identical one. And they kept doing this over and over and over until, eventually, a real problem came up. After all that time, not a single original piece of wood was left on the ship. And this, my friends, leads to the famous paradox of the ship of Theseus. If every single part of an object has been replaced, is it still the same object? Is that still the same ship that carried our hero home? Or is it something completely new? It's a huge question about identity, really, about what makes something, or even someone, themselves over time. And just like the hero it's named for, the answer is way more complex than it first seems. So, what do you think?